It is a beautiful Wednesday morning in the New Leaf Produce Market.
See that? St. John, if they win tonight, huge f***ing asterisk. All over the
yeah,
country.
you should
Just
talk about that.
Ridiculous, man.
You'll be very mad.
They got knocked out in the first round. They hadn't played since May 11th. They had
No,
more than a month off. It's ridiculous. I know people say, what are you going to do? I got ideas. You split the dub into two different f***ing leagues. You go the West, the Prairies, and then you have a 4-team tournament somewhere. I don't know how you do that yet, but you do it. Because you can't have a host team just getting in there. It's just ridiculous.
You're fired up.
I'm fired up.
We are live, but we are also on tape. We are deep down in the bowels of Lee's music. It's episode 51, Kamloops Last Week. Chris Foulds, Magic Mike, Bill at the controls. Foulds, how you doing?
Good. It's June 29th, so a year ago today, we set a record for the hottest day ever recorded in Kamloops, 47.6, and the hottest day in Canada in Lytton, 49.3, and the town burned down the next day. So today it's cloudy and cool out there, and it'll be like 25, so it's much nicer today than it was a year ago today.
Is there a memory for you that stands out that reminds you of how hot it was at that point?
You know, I remember walking the dog in the morning and halfway in the afternoon we have to come back early. But I remember it was this day a year ago, and I was working from home, and it was super hot. The air conditioning was going. I went outside just to see, and it was so hot that you couldn't even sweat. You know what I mean? It was so hot that the sweat just evaporated. I was doing some weeding, and I was thinking, I'm weeding it. It's 47 degrees. It's kind of cool.
Yeah, I mean, ours are kind of like first world problems, but I was in the depths of a depression already. I couldn't leave my house because it was so hot. I couldn't open my windows because the smoke was going to come in. I had no AC in my apartment either. I had to leave my place to go sleep at Tim and Darcy's house. But
the water, the heat and the smoke, yeah.
Okay, we have a cool show today. Music in the Park. Henry Small's going to come on and talk with us about that. He's waiting. He's lurking. You can hear his voice sometimes. Can he speak right now? Henry, can you say something?
I'm lurking.
Disembodied voice of Henry Small and somewhere in Alberta.
We'll have him on later. We're going to talk to the Kamloops NorthPaws, who are the walk-off kings of the West Coast League baseball ranks. Myranda Mackenzie is the queen of BC High School Rodeo. And Chris, Pineview, what's going on there?
We're going to talk about disturbing development in Pineview Valley. There's a townhouse development there. There's 42 units, and the residents are getting renovicted.
Okay, we'll get to that later. BC Lions, we could talk about that, or I thought we should talk about John Horgan, just because...
We touched on the Lions real quick. They're 2-0. Nathan Work, his second week in a row, he was the player of the week, basically. They play Ottawa tomorrow, which is the 30th. Set your VCRs for 4:30 p.m. BC time.
Are you still going with your perfection?
They'll be 17-1 this year. Anyway, they're doing great. They're looking great. Go to the games, watch the game. The crowd was terrible last week, but it was a beautiful day. John Horgan.
Well, he's a Lions fan. He likes sports. I think that's probably why he appeals to me. As you know, I haven't voted since 1992, just like you, as you like to announce. Did you know actually James Peters made a drinking game for our show? Oh, yeah. Every time you announce that you haven't voted since 1992, people take a drink. Every time I hold Herman up, people take a drink.
So the whole town's drunk.
the whole town's drunk.
Well, I mean, if you're a reporter, you shouldn't vote. And we can argue about that. I know Peters votes, and he has, and it's your right to do it. I just don't understand that mentality, but I'm old school.
No, that's cool.
Anyway.
What are your thoughts on Horgan?
So John Horgan just announced he's retiring. He's been through a lot. He's been through his second bout of cancer. He actually announced on one of our favorite shows, Donnie and Dally, that he was cancer-free, which is good to hear. Yeah. And he announced that he's going to step down as premier, as leader of the party. Not as premier, as leader of the party. Once they elect a new leader at the end of this year, that leader then becomes becomes the premier, but without being elected by the people yet. And he's doing it because he doesn't have the energy. He's tired, and people understand. I think the overwhelming response was they appreciate his job. They think he's done overall a pretty damn good job. Yeah. I mean, there's been lately the latter part of his term has been a little rocky, but with that museum debacle and other stuff. But he. People seem to like the guy. You were mentioning...
Well, yeah, I read the Vaughn Palmer column, and I thought he made some good points. And he talked about a poll, an Angus Reid poll. Yep. 88% of the people that took the poll were unhappy with the NDP, saying they failed on their main promise of affordable housing.
Yes.
But that same group of respondents 55% approval rating for John Horgan because he's a popular guy.
He's a guy who likes to. He's a guy. He seems like a straight shooter. When you talk to any of the reporters who covered the legislature, I've talked to a couple, and you hear them on the radio. Keith Baldy, Tom Fletcher, who just retired, Rob Shaw. They all like the guy. Like even if they have to critique him or ask him hard questions, they find him to be straightforward, to be relatively honest. This NDP government hasn't had really a scandal that we've had in the BC Liberal and the Social Credit and the NDP governments of the 90s. That was a real. Glenn Clark's government was just Wild West.
Who was the Hawaii bottle guy?
That was Gordon Campbell. He got a drunk driving charge in Hawaii, and then Bill Vandersheim, of course, sold the province out to Li Ka-shing. There's a whole bunch of shit going back, but. John Horgan, I would say, and I think it's a safe statement. In the history of this province, since maybe World War II, when politics changed, there's three most popular premiers. He's one of the three. Now the other two, obviously, Wacky Bennett is probably the most popular premier. Yeah. Dave Barrett, 72 to 75, very popular NDP premier. My dad loved him. And I think John Horgan's up there too.
Yeah, well, I guess like one of his most recent scandals was he said fuck.
Yeah.
To me, that was like his approval rating goes up for me. Like,
in the legislature, I remember when Trudeau said it back in the day, and they said, "You swore." He goes, "I did not." I said, "Fuddle duddle."
Okay. 208 subscribers, 209 actually. We got one more this morning. I'm jacked up about the show. If you can't watch the show, you can listen to the show, podcasts on any of your favorite providers.
Spotify, Apple, all
Apple.
that stuff.
It's up there now. You can have a look.
YouTube, KamloopsThisWeek.com, KamloopsThisWeek.com. All the episodes are there under its own little tab, so
yes.
It's good.
And we can't do the show without Mike.
Ba-ba-ba-ba-ba.
McDonald's. We drink their coffee exclusively on this show. Also, Gord's Appliance and Mattress Center. But today it's all about New Leaf Produce Market. They are our co-title sponsor, but it's their time to shine today. The strawberries are finally in from
Abbotsford, berry capital of the world.
New Leaf Produce Market.
Strawberries. Harmon and Steve, they're best buddies. They're in cahoots with the strawberries. Newfelt makes them down in Abbey, and New Leaf takes them back to Gammy.
1, 2, 3, 4.
We are right into Above the Folds here. Good job there, Bill. Quick on the draw. That's Erin Sims, and if you can't tell, she's not happy.
Nope.
And I think she's got good reason to be upset.
Yeah, she's one of the many residents of Pineview Heights. It's a townhouse complex in Pineview Valley. There's 42 units, of which I think most, all but a few, are occupied. The vast majority are families with kids, a lot of single parents, a lot of dual parents with kids, a lot of school-age kids who take the bus to Albert McGowan Park Elementary, which is quite a ways away. That's in their catchment area. It's built in the 90s. It's owned by Fraserview Corporation, and they were just told that the corporation has to do a massive renovation, and so that they have to get out by next February, so that this work can be done on each unit, and they can come back in, but they have to pay. They have to reapply to come back in.
Once you officially can vacate a premise, then you can raise the rate, because if you don't do that, you can only go up by 1.5% annually, right?
Yeah, the law was until, the law's always been, there's always been a cap under the NDP on how much a landlord can raise the rent annually. It's been 2%, 1.5%. During the pandemic, it was frozen, that you couldn't raise your rents, right? Because we didn't know what was happening. So this year, every year they say, here's what it is, it's 1.5%. But there was a bunch of what they call renovictions happening, where landlords will say, hey, you got to move out, I got to renovate, and then you move back in, or someone else moves back in. Or in Vancouver, in the last year, there's been stories, CBC's done some, Ty's done some, where a landlord will say, oh, hey, you got to move out. Someone's been living there for years, because my daughter's moving back home, and that was legal. But then the person who moved out would come back and find out that there's no family member there. The guy kicked him out, raised the rates, advertised that someone else moved in and for a higher rent. So in July of 2021, a year ago, the NDP amended the legislation to say that if you want to evict someone for renovations or for projects like this, you must apply to the residential tenancy branch. Right. And you can't just do it. You have to go through a process. So Fraserview has applied to do that.
And that's provincial government, right?
Provincial government. The NDP brought this in July of 12 months ago, 12 months ago this week, to say that you can't just kick someone out. You have to apply to do it, and you have to prove prove that the renovations you're going to do necessitate the vacancy of the unit. And some have gone to the hearings. There haven't been very many hearings. It's very new. So they're going on October 3rd. They got a hearing.
Who gets to go to that?
Well, the residents are getting together and they're gonna get someone to represent them, whether it's some pro bono legal aid or it could be one of the residents.
So it's not like a town hall where they get to go and share their...
No, and there's no evidence that they bring because the onus is on the developer. So the residential tenancy branch says, you just let us know you're going to be at this hearing. The developer will present why they think people have to leave to do this work, why they can't stay in there. And then an arbitrator, the residential tenancy branch has an arbitrator. They make a ruling afterwards. They say, no, you can't do this because we think you can do the work and they can stay there. Or,
Right.
worst case scenario for the residents, sorry, we agree with the guy, you got to leave. You can move back in, but it's up. He can set the rate at whatever he wants. Now, right now, they're paying between, most of them, $1,700 to $1,900 for a 3-bedroom townhouse. They're these narrow townhouses, fourplexes. The ones that are vacant, like people moved out, they're being advertised for between $200 and $2,200 a month. The fear here is that if they move out and they have right of first refusal, which means they have a right to, they have the first dibs on getting back into their unit with the new furnace and the new hot water tank and the new kitchens. But their fear is that their $1,800 is going to be $3,000.
Yeah, which of course that's what it's going to be. It's going to be a jacked up...
Well, we don't know how much. It's going to be up. Curtis Saucer told Michael Potestio, reporter, I'm going to have to raise the rates because I'm putting $75,000 into each unit. So 75 times 42 is about $3 million. $3 million, right? So he's putting... And
he's said that it's an old, like,
it's
the 90s,
it's
right?
the oldest one that the corporation owns.
But how is he going to prove, though? Because you posted, or we posted on our website, the checklist that comes from the branch that, okay, these are the things that you have to vacate a premise in order to work for.
Usually you don't.
And most of the things that they're doing, you don't have to make people leave.
According to the checklist on the residential tenancy branch policy guidelines, every single renovation cited by Fraserview, according to the government, it's unlikely you need to vacate.
So how do you, when you're...
Well, then he's going to have to go in. He's told us, well, I'm going to have to turn off the water for a few days at a time. I'm going to have to turn off electricity. I don't know the details of the scope of the project. They're going to meet on the July 21st at 7 p.m. in the Pineview Park, and others are welcome to go and support them.
I noticed on our website people commenting who have no relation to the families, they don't live there, they're saying, we're going to come support you because we don't want to see all these people displaced.
Now, I'm not saying this is we can't say this is a renoviction where he's doing the loophole. Curtis Schlosser, he called us back and he talked to us, and the story, he's quite blunt in the story. He's quite clear that I have to do this. It's a family-run corporation. He said it can't keep nickel and diming the repairs. It has to be a big repair. The big question we said is, because a couple of the residents we spoke to said, if they want to come in and they give us a new water heater, a new furnace, and they want to fix up our bathrooms and everything, we were more than willing to agree that our rent's going to go up a couple $100 a month. They're scared that it's going to be $1,000 and they're going to have to come back in and apply for it. And they say they can't afford that.
Yeah.
And the thing is, it's happening at an unprecedented time in the city and the province. We've never seen rents or house prices this high in Kamloops. We've never seen that combined with a vacancy rate so low. You can't get a lousy basement suite for like less than $1,900. It's a sad, and a lot of those is pure greed. I have a house, as you know, in Bachelor Heights.
Yes, yeah.
Now we bought the house
on a hill in the dream world up there.
5 years ago when I married my lovely wife together, and we bought the house for, I think it was $580. And we put $50,000 down because we both sold our homes before. So our mortgage is $530. We paid it down to whatever it is, $450 now over 5 years. The house, because the market's so crazy, our house, it's valued at $1 million now. Mm-hmm. It's not going to sell for that, but it's about $900,000 assessed. But our property taxes are going up. But whatever, my mortgage, because you got a good rate, 2%, is less than what they'll be paying for rent there if it goes up. It doesn't make sense that a mortgage in a house that's worth $1 million, that's 5 years old, mortgage is $2,400, is less than a lot of rents in town. That's, to me, is tragic.
Okay, we'll leave it there for now. I wonder if Henry Small's ever been evicted or renovicted. We'll find out.
Are you kidding me?
There he is. Just hang on 1 second.
Henry lives in the best and the coolest building in all of Kamloops. I'd live there if I was single.
He's in Edmonton right now. We'll meet him right now.
Tell me where he lives.
Can we get to the next segment
okay,
here?
Yes.
In last week, this week, Henry Small. Ever been evicted from anywhere?
Yeah, pretty much every place I've ever been.
Give us one story.
Oh God. If you've ever been a musician, it's like, and you haven't been because you're living in $1 million home.
No,
You know?
no, it's assessed. It's assessed at that, but it's not worth that.
He's loaded.
No, I'm not loaded. I'm in journalism.
His wife's loaded.
I'm not loaded. Yeah.
Nobody's loaded.
Nobody's loaded. No,
And
not.
when you get that mortgage next year, you'll get loaded. That's for sure.
Well, the good thing is I renewed 8 months ago, so I'm good for 5 more years before I'm homeless.
Oh,
So that's
good.
good. Yeah,
Good.
absolutely. Yeah.
We brought you on to talk about music in the park. I called you and talked to you for like 15 seconds yesterday. It sounded like you have been extremely busy putting this thing together. So how's it going?
It's. I have to say, I'm happy that we're doing it. It has been a challenge. I mean, things are different since the pandemic. With musicians, a lot of musicians that usually are traveling during the week, which makes it far easier to book, are have had to get day jobs over the last couple of years. So it's a different time, but we have a lot of local people that have stepped up to the plate, and I just got a note from the Root Band that I forgot to put them in. So
Oh, the famous room band. Yeah.
look forward to it for the people of Kamloops, especially because everybody's been locked up for so long, and I think it's great that the city and BCLC have done what they're doing, and we're going ahead with this.
What are some of the highlights of the lineup?
I was going to say me, but no. All kidding aside, there are Wednesdays are going to be especially strong due to sponsorships by BCLC. I think the Dixie Chicks tribute is going to be pretty strong. Then we have an AC/DC tribute. We've got a lot of tribute acts coming, which are always very popular.
Now, you're in Edmonton right now, correct?
Yes.
Now, Edmonton, I lived there for a few years in the 80s and 90s, and it's in the summer, because they're inside, it's like every year is COVID to them. In the winter, they never get to go out. So in the summer, there's a lot of festivals there. And I remember the Fringe Festival, the Blues Festival, and they really like to get out and do this. But is it still the fact that Kamloops is the only city that you know of that has a nightly concert for 2 straight months in the summer? Is there any place in Canada that does this?
I really honestly don't know for sure, but I'm pretty sure that nobody else does it. At least, 60 nights in a row.
Yeah.
I mean, we're just really lucky. That's all.
A two-part question here. Is there one year that stands out as being the greatest music in the park of all time? And is there one year where everything just went wrong and it was a disaster that stands out in your mind?
I'm looking at this screen and I feel like I'm in a Japanese movie or something. I'm miming. It's like, anyway, there's, every year has had its highlights. Every year has had its disasters. I think Mike can address a lot of that. But there's never been a year that, aside from the summers that we had fire, and even then we went ahead and did it. But the fire has really put a damper on a lot of things, for sure, for music in the park anyway.
Music in the park, the greatest part of music in the park is the families that come down, the people that are there, and it's just, you get to know everybody. It becomes a community and really brings Kamloops closer together. The fact that we have to sit there with Henry every night for an hour and a half, well, that's just one of the prices you have to pay for admission.
Henry, any thoughts? Any final thoughts?
Yeah, Mike, you're fired.
Now, what are you looking forward to most about it this year, Henry?
The August 31st.
The ending?
No.
This is not a good promo.
Henry, you're playing on the 3rd, right?
Yes.
July 3rd? I think so. I saw it on the schedule. So I'm looking forward to
Yeah,
that.
July 3rd.
Yes, Sunday, July 3rd. That's right.
There's going to be some good stuff, and I'm really proud that, to be honest, after I think this is about 30 years that we've been doing this, that we have so many local people that are just as talented, that are performing this year because of budget constraints and pandemic and trying to get out of towners. It's much, much harder because of gas prices and the expense of hotels, and everything's changed quite dramatically, and we weren't quite prepared for that. But I think the good news is that we've had a lot of people that were able to step up and will provide really good entertainment for Kamloops.
Okay, well, thanks for putting all the work into organizing, and thanks for taking the time this morning.
Thank you. And I want you, do I get a mortgage like that? Can I get a 5-year mortgage?
Well, if
And
you're
a wife?
Well,
I
well,
need a wife.
first you need the wife, Henry. I think you have a few in the past, but you need a wife. Maybe go back and just recycle one of them, and then together. But you got to get a mortgage now before the rates go up. But yeah.
I've had so many wives. I need help. Okay.
Well, Tara Holmes. She's got a couple of weeks left in her business there. You should talk to Tara. You know her very well.
She'll keep going. That's a ploy.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's not going to stop the business. She's.
It's a big ploy.
I thought you were going to say I need her as a wife, and I was about ready to cut this interview short.
Don't want the 9-hour cycle, please.
Freaking $500 hydro bill, piece of trash.
I need to speak to Gord on the 9er.
Hey, no, I'm actually Steve, the new owner.
First things first, pal, you should probably update your sign. Number 2, my dishwasher is tangled again. The 9-hour cycle, hydro bill through the roof. You guys don't fix appliances, I know that, so I need a new one.
We actually do fix appliances, but if you want, I can try some new ones first and have a look. You got a price in mind?
Money's not an obstacle for me.
Money's definitely an obstacle. He's the cheapest guy in Kamloops. Ain't that right, Darby?
Well, this here is going to be your Cadillac model, top of the line. This is our middle-of-the-road dishwasher, just a great dishwasher at a great price. This is our budget-friendly model, still a great dishwasher, just at a bit of a lower price.
Price doesn't work for me. Let's see if you can fix mine at home.
Alrighty then. There you go. Seems to be good. How's the fridge working?
The fridge is fine, Gord.
It's Steve.
That right there, it's a great Dave Eagles photo. I'll blow it up on the screen so we can see it better and flash a few more up. That's Myranda Mackenzie. Her mom's a realtor in town. I can't remember her name now. Anyway, that's Myranda. That's her horse, Stylish Scott O'Bar. And Myranda, she's in grade 10 at Norcam Secondary, and she was competing against girls in grades 10, 11, and 12 at the BC High School Rodeo Provincials earlier this month in Quesnel. And she won the competition to become queen of all of BC High School Rodeo in grade 10. So I thought that was a pretty cool
It is pretty cool.
accomplishment.
Absolutely.
My name is Myranda Mackenzie. I'm 15 years old and I go to Norcam Secondary School. I won the Queen competition at the High School Rodeo Provincials in Quesnel, BC. I first started when I was 7 years old, and I used to ride the little stick horses around on my street with all my friends. And then I decided to take up riding at the Therapeutic Riding Center, where I started my lessons for 3 years. And then my mom met this nice old lady, and she had a horse that she needed someone to ride while she was going away to university. So that's why I have my barrel horse today. And now they gave him to me because they've seen my love and passion for him, and I've been riding him for 5 years.
What's your horse's name?
Scotty.
Scotty.
Yeah.
What makes Scotty special?
Scotty has so many different personalities. He's exactly like me. He's outgoing. He wants to do stuff. He loves his job. He loves to run. You can see the passion in his eyes when he's going around the arena, and he's just a very special horse. So you can't compete in the Queen competition until you get into grade 10. But this is my first year high school rodeo, and I thought that I would like to represent high school rodeo and more than just competing in it by representing the culture. So we have our sash here that represents like Miss BC High School Rodeo, and our chaps also say it too. Miss High School Rodeo BC.
So you get those specific things for winning?
Yeah, so when you win, you get the crown, you get the sash, and you get the chaps. And then you get these for the year that you're like reigned queen.
How is it revealed to you that you won? How do they do the presentation?
We went in grand entry so that everyone carries a flag around the arena. They decided to do the princess first, so they crowned the princess. And then they called my name to get crowned queen.
And what was that moment like?
It was a wonderful moment. I I thought I did really good. I was really confident throughout the week, and I had a really good feeling about it, and I went in there hoping that I would win and confident that I would.
What's your bread and butter?
Well, honestly, I got awards for my personality and my appearance. I really like having to show Western heritage in a bunch of different colors, and also my personality. I can just go out there and just act like myself. And my speech actually came really easy to me because I'm okay with public speaking in front of people. I have a loud, clear voice.
Yeah, you could take my job at CBC Radio. Can you take me over and show me your horse and tell me a bit about the horse here? How do you tell if Scotty likes you or not? And what do you think Scotty thinks of myself and Dave Eagles here?
Oh, he loves people. He loves, like even when he goes out in the arena, he can tell the atmosphere. If like people are watching, he tries to impress. He's a very, he likes to impress, and he likes to look good and everything.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, see? And then he licks his lips like that. That means he's happy. He's happy and he's chill and calm. So you go from provincials, you have to win provincials, and then you go up to nationals.
Do you think you can win there too?
I'm very confident, and I hope that I will, yes.
What about long term?
Well, I want to go and rodeo a lot, but I also want to get a good education first. So I'm hoping to go join the Canadian Armed Forces and do that and get my education through there. And I want to become a trauma surgeon so I can, hopefully be on a big ranch and pay for all my horses.
Okay, you've got a lot going on, a bright future. Myranda is actually going to go on now to Wyoming, to the big granddaddy of them all, the national finals.
Largest rodeo in the world, they say. Right?
Yeah, that's how they bill it. So people from the U.S., from Mexico, from New Zealand, Australia, and she thinks she can win. She's a very confident young lady, and you heard her talk about her future there as well. She wants to be a trauma surgeon.
Trauma surgeon, that's right.
Canadian Armed Forces to pay for all her horses at a ranch.
She's got really high goals, and that's good to hear.
Okay, let's move on now. Michael Potestio on location.
10,000 square foot hangar, which has the largest solar panel installation in Kamloops. 6,000 square feet on the roof. It powers the entire building and then sends some back onto the grid. It's cool.
Let's check out the footage right now in the Last Week Click.
So I'm here at the Canadian Flight Center at the Kamloops Airport, YK, where they've just opened this new 10,000 square foot airport hangar. So the CFC, it's the first ever airport hangar. It was just the planes in the field off the tarmac with a tiny little cabin before they've been able to finally build this $2 million project. And it's a huge expansion for the company. They're going to be able to double their business. They're going to go from about just having a couple planes here to upwards of a dozen. And this place, it's a carbon neutral facility that will also have up to 30 to 40% of its electricity running as solar. And it's going to have hookups for electric planes to be able to come here on the way to the interior from the lower mainland or wherever to be able to hook up and charge. It's pretty interesting. We're going to be on the forefront, making Kamloops a hub for electric planes. Back to you guys in the studio.
Thank you, Michael, for going out on location. I went out on location as well to the NorthPaws to talk to them earlier this week. You've been to a game. What's your thoughts on what they got going right now?
It's fantastic. It's so good. It's better than I thought. It's great.
They're packing 900 plus fans in there on a Friday and Saturday night.
Yeah, I was at the opening game and then another game against Bellingham, and hoping to see a game this weekend with the Kamloops Black Bears.
Yeah, their 6-game homestand starts Friday. They're 9-3 at home right now. 6 of those wins, 6 of 9 wins, walk-off wins.
It's like unheard of.
And it feels like it's deserved for the ownership group to get a start like this because they went through the whole year, the pandemic. They had to basically rebuild their team twice. I talked to their manager, Cole Armstrong, who had to kind of build 2 teams essentially to start this. There must have been some financial strife with the ownership group not being able to get money in from Gates, and now they're selling this thing out almost, and it's good to see. Nolan Austin and Jared Sucro in this video right here. You're the walk-off kings of the league. You're packing about 900 fans in here, and it's your hometown. I mean, what's it like for you to be part of this club?
I mean, it was something that it was cool going into, because getting to play this level baseball in Kamloops, but the crowds that we pulled and how well we're doing, it's like it's beyond what I expected, honestly. Like we got a really good fan base behind us, and they bring it every night, and they're hectic, they're wild, and it is so much fun to play in. It's just a lot of fun.
What's it like to be part of so many kind of late game heroics?
Yeah, no, I mean, it's fun. I think
everyone enjoys it and you never get sick of it. I mean, it's the most exciting thing in baseball, I think, and I think, you know, it's been awesome for the city. It's been awesome for the team. You know, having those 3 walk-offs in the first 3 games, I think that was a big thing with the team growth. You know, guys bonded over that.
9 wins at home, 6 walk-offs. That's pretty wild. What do you make of that?
I've never been a part of something like that before. It's crazy. I never would have thought we would have that many walk-off wins, but it just shows when it comes down to it. We put together what we need to do to win. It's simple as that. I mean, it's incredible. Like, you couldn't ask for much more, especially being a hometown kid and, you know, being the first season for the NorthPaws. I mean, we're getting great crowds every night. There's great involvement with the team and the community and all that stuff, you know, especially this camp out here, you know, is getting us involved with the younger population and stuff. And hopefully we can help grow the sport of baseball in Kamloops and inspire the youth to continue, you know, what we're doing.
Your thoughts on the show?
Good show. Yeah, I like having Henry Small. Henry Small is the second guest we've had so far. So he's the second person to appear on the show twice.
Yeah, he was good. Thanks, Mike, Bill, to Herman Hothi for all your support over this past year. Thank you to New Leaf Produce Market. The strawberries are in, so get on down there to New Leaf Produce Market. Also, while you're there, you can head on over to Gord's Appliance and Mattress Center. And we got a new commercial coming up soon, a music video this guy right here stars in, so you can stay tuned for that.
They're only a couple blocks away.
Yeah.
That's right.
That's it. We'll see you last week.